Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, the Corvette is back in the third bay and the SS is back over where it belongs in the main bay. So you guys might be wondering, well, what are we working on today? Well, today we're actually putting the Corvette back on the lift because we've got a couple little projects that we need to work on, and to do those projects the car needs to be up in the air. So today's project is actually going to be working on the aerodynamics for the car. So I had this front clip put on about 6 years ago when I did the Z06 front wide body kit. We did the back probably like a year or two before that. So almost 6 years ago to the day, when we filmed this video of us getting this front clip put on. Well, when we put that on, we used the RPI kit. They still make this kit, I believe, but basically, it's a Z06 Fender. It's the RPI side skirt, the RPI front splitter, and this is a GM front bumper, and of course the ZR1 hood that we put on a while back. The only problem that I've had with this kit is actually keeping paint on the rear aerodynamics for the side splitter. Oh yeah, you can see that. So basically what happens is as we drive down the road, the rocks get kicked up and they just end up nailing this little bracket piece that connects the side splitter itself up to the fender. And I have been touching those up for years, and finally the driver's side is really bad. Like, the paint doesn't match anymore. Like, you can only cover that up with touch-up paint so many times before it starts to look bad. And well, yeah, they're starting to look bad. And on this passenger side, you actually can see the white fiberglass that's underneath it. So what we're gonna be doing today is actually replacing both sides with the actual GM parts. These are off a ZR1. So you can't see the whole part number, but it's basically 158-91954, and this one is 158-91953. And yes, they are made in Canada, and they have French on it too. So it's a little interesting. So I had actually been looking online to buy these brand new, but a friend of mine was parting out a ZR1, or maybe it was a Z06, Z07, or a 427 convertible, I'm not sure. But basically, he had a spare set of these and put them up for sale, so I decided to pick them up. And like I said, these are the GM parts, and these are actually like it's a hard plastic rubber combination. Oh, and one more thing about those RPI side skirts. I did destroy the driver's side, man, probably at least 5 or 6 years ago. And when I was autocrossing, I'll include a clip of that here. As you guys just saw, we totally destroyed the driver's side RPI side skirt. So the replacement's been on there for a few years now. I'll actually have a video link to that up above. And anyway, so we actually had to take off that flare piece, that connecting the fender to the side splitter. We actually had to take that off a couple years ago. So this isn't going to be the first time of us removing these pieces. So let's go ahead and get the car up in the air, and we'll start taking this stuff apart. All right, now that the car is safely on the lift and everything is good, we're gonna remove the rear wheels and tires. I don't need to do that for this project, but we actually have another project coming up to where we're gonna need those. So that'll be a future video, but so let's go ahead and take those off, get everything out of the way, and we'll finally start tearing apart the car. All right, guys, you can see the back of the fiberglass piece. Here's the GM piece, and as you can see, I think what RPI did when they made these fiberglass pieces, they just took a GM one, took a mold of it, and it's kind of how they built everything. So however these are held on with, at least in my application, are a bunch of 7mm screws. So it should come out pretty easily. And yeah, so alright, so there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's also going to be 2 in the bottom down here. And mine, I actually have some trim clips that I picked up at a local hardware store, and I'll show you what I mean. So I have this little clip right here that the 7mm screw just screws into. And I have two of them. I have one here and I have one here. All right, so here's that second clip like I was telling you about. And this should just come right out. All right, and as you guys can probably see in the light, you know, there's just all kinds of rock chips. There's touch-up paint. You know, this isn't very clean, but still, you know, I never could get these things to stay clean and remain clean is a good, good analogy. So here is the RPI kit. Here is the GM one. You know, pretty much the same piece. One's just plastic, one's fiberglass. And yeah, this fiberglass one is definitely heavier, probably 2 times the weight. So not that that's really that important, but anyway, so here's the test fit. It should match right up. You know, screw hole, screw hole, screw hole. Yeah, these all match up. Now, I actually believe the way that GM attaches the bottom pieces here is actually with 2 rivets, that they actually rivet the outer splash guard shield, whatever this thing's called, to the splitter itself. I believe they use rivets, but like we showed you earlier, we're just going to use the same clips that we've been using for the last 6 years, and we should be good. So let's go ahead and get this new one installed. Alright guys, you just saw us finish up the passenger side on the ZR1 fender flare bracket thing that goes between the fender and the side skirt. And to actually finish up this install, I actually had to wait for some new hardware. And what we got are a set of, I believe they call these U-bolts. These are from GM. The part number is 115-15638. And I'll try to have a link to these down below. And we're gonna need at least 2 of these to finish this install. Basically what happened is the middle bolt, the fender is actually wider than the other sections, and the hardware I had would not fit. So we need to basically put this in and finish up that middle bolt for this install. All right guys, we have the passenger side fully installed, and as you can see, this is the ZR1 piece and this is the RPI splitter. Try to show you the difference. There's a little bit of color difference in between the two, but you know, pretty much the RPI stuff is a fairly good match for the GM parts. And then back here, you know, like I said, we have all the bolts installed. This middle bolt that I was telling you about, this is where that clip went. All right, so that's gonna be it for today's video. You know, like a pretty simple install. It was just removing the fiberglass flares, replacing them with the plastic ZR1 pieces. I will actually try to provide you guys links to the fender flares and the fender nuts. I'm not sure what we'll be able to find. If I can't find a link, I'll just include the part number down below. So that's actually it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button. And if you guys want to see more updates on the Corvette, we do have more content coming. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notification button down below. And if you guys want to help support the channel, click all the links down below and check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. Thanks guys. Have a great one.